And we are live with another edition of All In on St. Mary's Sports, hosted by Gabby Higgins. Gabby is joined tonight by St. Mary volleyball coach Michael DCO. Welcome, Gabby.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here for my second episode of All In on St. Mary's Sports. I'm so glad to welcome Coach DCO, who is the St. Mary's volleyball coach of the program. Hi, Coach. Thank you so much for joining me.
How are you? Thank you for the opportunity, Gabs.
So to get right into it, your team is off to a 3-0 start, following up with being crowned the Tri-County Fort Lee Tournament champions. Could you tell us a little bit about the hot start to your season?
To be honest with you, we're honestly just getting going. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a hot start, but step in the right direction. I have a mentality that I preach to our girls overall, and I'm sure you've heard me in a classroom setting and in front of other students. Every day is another opportunity to be better overall. We do have some lofty expectations, but the expectations start with simply hard work each and every day. Like they say, rent is due. So there, we'll see where we go. Front-loaded schedule. I have a more competitive schedule this year. I have 4 to 5 Big North schools on our schedule to make sure we're battle tested, make sure we're ready to go towards the end of the season, where that championship run hopefully will be made. We'll see where it goes, but like I said, we're just getting started. I have a lot of new girls. You being a transfer and yourself, I have 10, 11 transfers joining our program this year overall. So with a lot of sports, whether it be volleyball, softball, football, basketball, gel. Everybody's got to gel. Everybody's got to come together. Everybody's got to believe in the system. Communication is absolutely key. And even more so with volleyball, it's a high-paced game, very high in emotions, momentum swings. They got to be able to trust one another without doubt, without thinking, with the girl next to you. And that's what they're starting to actually see. And after the Fort Lee tournament, I told them win or lose in that championship game, the way that they played, the way that they came together overall as a team. And these girls have barely played together before. Don't get me wrong. We've put our work in over the summer. I have pretty much 3 returning starters part of my program. So everything is kind of fresh to them. The players are fresh to me. I'm fresh to them, to one another in that aspect. So it's exciting to see. We're all excited. The school is excited. And I'm pumped. I really am. But now I get to sit back and watch our work come to fruition. So this is the fun part about being a coach. You just get to sit back and kind of watch, give them a pep talk when you need to, correct them when they're wrong. And just keep motivating them every single day, day in, day out. And that's probably the hardest part for me, is just to find different angles and ways to keep them motivated. And tempo for us is one big, big thing.
Okay. Coach, I believe you finished last year with a 23-4. I understand you lost some players due to graduation. However, you do have a lot of returners. Could you tell us a little bit about some of your experienced players on this year's squad, as well as some promising newcomers? I know you did mention about a lot of transfers.
Oh, absolutely. 23-4 overall was a hell of a year. It's my 3rd year now as head coach, so we're trying to pick up right where we left off. It was a bitter ending to the season, but honestly, there's only one team that gets that perfect end of the season, that championship run, as you know, softball-wise. So I'm glad to see we're picking up kind of where we left off. Returning starters-wise, first and foremost is my senior captain, junior captain, I apologize, Sarah Griesbauer. Another returner is my setter, Athena Galestos. She's only a sophomore. She broke the starting lineup as a freshman, which was huge. And even though she's a sophomore and I've had this conversation with her, she's a leader, whether or not she's got a C on her chest or not, and she knows it, just the way she runs our offensive system, picks the girls up when we need to. My other returning starter is my libero, Autumn Samek. As far as the transfers, we have a plethora. As far as varsity is concerned, first is another captain. She's the senior, Mia Gonzalez. This girl, you know rather well. She's from IC with you. I knew about her before we even got to play you last year. This girl has the capability to take over a game at any point in time. She's that type of player. She's that intense. She is competitive. And boy, can she wallop and hit a ball. I view her literally as that leader. She's got that championship mentality. And between her and Sarah, as they paved the way pretty much. There are 2 big outsides, but this year more comparable to last. We've normally in St. Mary's in our roster, we usually have maybe 2 big hitters, 2 big players of that mentality. This year, we're well-rounded. We have 5. We could hit from all sides of the court normally. And with scouting reports or when you see in a game, if you only have 1 or 2 weapons, if you can slow down 1 or 2 of those weapons, anybody's really got a chance. And anything. Talent doesn't always win either. And that's one thing I truly believe in. And I remind them day in, day out. It's the one thing I don't tolerate is complacency. No matter who we play, we have to play and play at our game, our tempo, our speed, our pace. A few of the other transfers are Gabriella Weiss as well, another softball player of yours. She's been playing middle for us. She's a senior as well. We have a junior, Noelle Samanier, who's my right side, which gives us a lot of versatility, to be honest with you. We could attack from the left side. We could attack from the right. We could attack from the backcourt. And we have 2 strong middles. And I cannot forget a sophomore as well transfer, who's my other starting middle, Michaela George. She's actually from DePaul. So there's pretty much my starting rotation and starting lineup, and that's not to neglect the depth that we have. Our JV program is deep as well. I have depth on my varsity bench, which is huge. It gives me options, to be completely honest with you. And I preach to my athletes, the more things that you can do, and even like softball, right? The more positions you can play, keeps you on the field, gives you more playing time, gives you more reps, and makes us more well-rounded as a team, to be completely honest with you, which honestly makes, in my opinion, makes us very dangerous this year.
Coach, before you and Gabby continue, we got a comment coming in from a Jackie Marino. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, saying, Coach, Theo, let's go. Love it.
Marino, yeah, that's my sister. That's actually Roddy's mom, believe it or not. My nephew was on your show last night. So we support each other through and through, that's for sure.
I was going to say, that last name looked familiar. I thought that might have been a relation. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you have been at the helm of the program for 3 years and a part of the coaching staff for 9.
Yeah.
In that time, can you tell us how the program has evolved?
Oh, man, I could talk for hours about this, and I can talk. To be honest with you, it was slow and steady at first. Getting players, first and foremost, to buy in to the things that you preach day in, day out, isn't necessarily easy. And it's not even just from the athletic standpoint. The way I coach my girls, I'm very, very open with them. I believe in an open dialogue, open communication. My door is always open no matter what it is. They know that. But they also got to trust in one another. They all have to buy in as a team. So to get them all to believe in a singular concept does take time. And like you've mentioned, I've been there for years. This isn't something that's just happened overnight. This has been years in the making. I have a mantra. Whether or not you hang a banner at the end of the year does not define who you are. Success in our society, unfortunately, is usually defined by wealth or championships, trophies, rings, what have you. In my eyes, that's not the case. Success is kind of what you leave behind, the legacy. And that's one thing I talked about last year. And this program and this year, these girls, this goes back to probably 2-3 years ago, from the seniors that graduated last year, even the year before. I still remember having conversations with them when they came in for Gale for a Day as 8th graders, trying to get them to come to our school. Another mantra that I believe in is my loyalty is to the team. I don't play favorites in any way, shape, or form, whether you're a returning starter, freshman, senior, what have you. This goes back to even my days coaching Beckton baseball. The best play. And I push them day in, day out. For argument's sake, even going back to the talent doesn't always win perspective, all summer before every single practice, we run a mile to a mile and a half every single day. No athlete likes running. I get it. They weren't happy with it at first, especially some of the transfers. Like, what the hell are we doing? I don't get this. But if talent doesn't always win, you got to be willing to sacrifice. Whoever's willing to sacrifice more or bleed, sweat, right, hustle a little bit more can be a difference maker. Once again, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. Once you start winning, and winning is hard enough, don't get me wrong, but to continue winning day in, day out, year in, year out, that's the culture that we are trying to build. It's not just building a program, and you hear a lot of coaches talk about culture, and I get it. It's rightfully so. We're all trying to do it in our own way. But I run with them every single day. My assistant runs with them every single day. The main mantra of why I brought it about was to show them that they could push the bounds. Our potential is mostly a mindset. Like, we put limits on ourselves for no reason. We have to learn as just athletes, humans, people, daughters, sons, right? Each and every day we have a chance to be better and push the bounds. Your potential, our potential overall, is the sky if you want it to be. And it's one thing, and from a coach and even more so as a teacher, and you've seen me in the classroom, that's probably the biggest lesson I can give you guys. Like, you guys can achieve almost anything you want if you put your mindset to it. But it's not just the mindset, it's the work. And once again, that goes back to that rent. Rent's due every day, literally every single day. Now that we're in season, you get 1, maybe 2 practices a week, especially early in the season right now, September. County cut is the last week of September. We have to front load our schedule so much. So literally this week I was supposed to have 5 games. 1 did get canceled. But 1 day a week to be able to keep these things going, that energy, work on execution, work on technique. I'm a stickler for it. It takes time, but you have to have the right, I don't want to say the right girls, but these girls have to come in the gym every single day with the right mindset. And you've heard me preach that even in the classroom. I'm useless to you if you don't come in with that mindset, ready, willing to work with an open mind. And like I said, rent's due. It takes sacrifice. Everything in this world, in life, school, athletics, my career, right? It takes sacrifice. And you guys probably see that firsthand more than anything with some of the sacrifice your parents make just for you guys as athletes. I've been there before. Trust me, I get it.
We got some comments rolling in here, Coach. We have a Carl Ross checking in saying continued success to one of my favorites to ever coach. We have a Messiah Torres saying DCO. And we have our very own Kurt Valenti checking in saying great show and great job on your second show, Gabby. And he has a question for Coach, actually. We know there are travel baseball and softball most of the year. Basketball has summer league. What does volleyball off season look like?
To be honest with you, the off season is difficult for volleyball, especially with some of my players. The beginning of my career there, we didn't honestly have too many club players. This goes back to probably about 3-4 years ago now. We started, it takes 1 to almost build a village, but once you get 1, they all kind of start coming. And once you start winning, they all kind of start coming, kind of like Field of Dreams mentality. You build it, they'll come. A lot of my players now are club players. Club season starts right after our season. Hell, they have tryouts come August. I have some of my club players literally doing double time during our off season workouts in July and August. So to have a full off season like some of the other programs can have with football, baseball, all winter is very, very difficult for me. But I do have a lot of multi-sport athletes, so I also don't want to pull them away, but they all know, and that newsletter that I send out goes out usually every April, May. Come July, you're mine type of mentality. July, I run 3 days a week. I give them the weekends off. I condition the hell out of them, to be honest with you. I put them through all different types of plyometrics, some of them, and every year I'm looking at ways to tinker things and revamp things. If we're not trying to get better, and that goes with me, I'm very passionate about what I do. I bleed volleyball this time of year. My wife knows it. My family knows it. My players know it. My students know it. Hell, even my administration knows it. But come August, it's 5 days a week. It's a full commitment. And these girls got to know once season starts, it's 6 days a week. It's not 5 days a week. Those Saturday practices when you need to tinker with some things, work on some things, watch film, whatever it may be. There's only so many hours in a day. So we have to maximize our time with one another just simply because I don't run off-season workouts through December and take away from their club. They're working on their own. I know they're working, those club players, some of the underclassmen or maybe players that aren't exposed to that type of club volleyball. We send them to certain different camps. We give them as much information and places to go as humanly possible. But a lot of that kind of falls on themselves, especially if they're multi-sport athletes. And I get it. I was one. I still remember to this day my baseball coach getting mad that I was missing some off-season workouts because of wrestling. But wrestling was my forte, and you can't blame it. You can't take it out on the athletes. We all have a lot going on. But like I said, once July kicks in, it's all about business, and it starts early in July. About 4 weeks, so 12 practices in July, 11 practices. And then come August, after that blackout week, we go hard for 2.5 weeks. And then that last week of August is scrimmage week. Hell, last year, our first game was before even school started. So getting access to these girls during that summertime, for me, is absolutely critical. And they know that.
Gabby, we have another question coming in. This one's for you, actually, Gabby. Right? So we have our good friend from the K&K show, Kenny Kirkpatrick, watching from Maryland. He said, just like Kurt, great second show, Gabby. His question for you is, are you starting to get the celebrity treatment, and have you signed many autographs yet? Keep up the great work.
Oh, of course I have.
I'll ask tomorrow, right? I'll put it on my corkboard behind my desk for you.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's an exciting time to be a student athlete here at St. Mary's. You have developed a winning mentality in the girls volleyball program. Coach Johnson has the football guys back on track. You have boys and girls basketball, baseball, and now softball. They're all highly competitive programs now. How important is it for the whole school to produce winning teams?
Going back to it, we put so much emphasis sometimes, even as coaches, players, society, on simply just winning. Once again, winning doesn't just define you, but like I preach to the girls, I want our program and I hold my athletes to the highest standard. There's no exceptions, whether it be captain, no captain, and all of our programs have taken some time to build up. Our baseball program's been phenomenal for years now, going back to even Coach Charles. Coach Nigel has been doing a great job. Basketball with Coach Gash, he's doing phenomenal. They have big things in front of them. But to be able to build a program and rebuild it and build it back up does take time. But now you see, and you're going to see firsthand when you start going to some more events overall, that a lot of us bleed blue. It's one thing I stressed last year after the year that we had. I've never seen, still to this day, and I'm new to St. Mary's. I'm not a private school boy. I'm not a St. Mary alum. I've never seen a community come together the way that it came together last year for my volleyball program. I couldn't walk the streets without somebody grabbing me, asking a question. And that goes back to not even just the winning mentality, but that goes back to that legacy perspective. It's not essentially just the championship. You don't have to hang a banner to be remembered in that perspective. These girls, and it's like I said, it goes back to the year prior. That's the legacy that they left. Now it's up to us to own up to that legacy, to live up to that legacy, and carry that torch. And that's what I'm really looking to do. And that's how these kinds of programs and that culture is really made. And it takes some dedicated athletes in order to be able to do it. And we have a lot of them now. We really do. Football is getting a lot day in, day out. There's transfers, whether it be for the football program, baseball program has got a lot. Coach has been bringing kids from all over. Hell, for argument's sake, like I just got approached from administration the other day that we had a Gale for the Day in, right? The other day, a girl that's trying to come in now 2 weeks into September and trying to join our volleyball program. So the way that the school supports one another, from the students to the teachers to the administration, is unbelievable, to be honest with you. It blows me away. You haven't seen it yet. We've never really had a home court. Last year, we had a home court for the first time, Sharon Felician with you girls at IC. To be able to see those stands get packed and alumni come back and everybody come back. Hell, like Coach Ross, like for argument's sake, that man's coached me since I'm 6 years old, all the way throughout. And it's come full circle. I had the ability to even coach his son for a period of time. So to pay it forward and have a lot of people, I have parents that have graduated, for their kids have graduated, sending emails, asking for schedules. When can I get to the next game? What's going on? So it's really exciting time to see the programs on the up and up and on the rise. And hopefully with the hard work and the dedication, not only that just the players put in, the coaching staff, everybody, we can keep this run going and carry that torch. Because we bleed blue and we preach small, personal, and Catholic. We are a small knit community, but everybody supports everybody in almost any way that they can. And that's one of the best things I can really say about St. Mary's. From the time that I've been there to even today, that support system is astronomical.
And being that you're a teacher at St. Mary's, how does this allow and help you create a stronger bond with your players?
I actually write about this for a lot of my student athletes that I have to write a letter of recommendation for. There's nothing better, to be honest with you. You get two sides of this, the coin, two sides of the story. I get to see them in a classroom setting. They get to see me in a classroom setting. They get to see me in an athletic setting. I get to see them in an athletic setting. That open dialogue and that communication is key for me. Again, it's one thing I preach no matter what it may be. I have kids, whether it be they're an ex-athlete of mine or student of mine, reaching out. So what I can leave with you is that impression, those lessons. And you've heard me preach for about the past week now. That preaching ain't going to stop, dear. That's just kind of who I am. And it's kind of ironic because it's the name of your show. I'm all in on everything that I do. I can't do anything halfway. And that's how passionate I am about it. And you'll start to see a little bit more firsthand. But the inside and the outside of the classroom, there's nothing better, to be completely honest with you. And it's ironic because I coached Beckton baseball for 10 plus years. So I enjoyed it. It was a whole different perspective where I got to teach them in a classroom and then coach against them. You know what I mean? It just brought it a whole nother aspect to that type of relationship that we had. And we had so much fun with it. But to be able to truly coach them and my students is honestly a blessing. I enjoy it day in, day out, and I hope they enjoy it as much as I do, to be honest with you.
Now, before you go, we have this little activity where I ask you 3 rapid fire questions, and I'm going to ask them right after one another, just to get a little bit more.
So you're going to ask 3 in a row, or do you want me to answer in between?
Answer in between.
Okay.
First one, what's your favorite type of music?
Oh, this is a good one. Honestly, I don't play a specific genre. I was brought up, though, to be honest with you, with classic rock, so I can't steer against that. But honestly, anything and everything. New school rap's a little bit difficult for me, but I'm even getting to blues, jazz. I was down in New Orleans about a year ago, and there's just anything with live music. I'm big with live bands. I'll pass on the DJ any day of the week. Give me a live band, and I am happy. That's for sure.
Now, what is your favorite and funniest memory that you share with your volleyball girls that happened either at practice, a game?
Oh, wow. Honestly, geez, this is a different one to come up with. Funniest moment. When girls get tense, things start to snowball theory, right? Domino theory. And when emotions get involved, right, everything just drops. I used to have this technique where, and I don't want to let this whole secret out because I haven't yet to do it with this group of girls. I'll just scare the hell out of them. And they'll just freak out and they just don't know what to do. But it gets them to loosen up. And next thing you know, we're sitting there goofing off. And some of the bus rides home, I love being goofy with them. I'll embarrass myself in any way, shape, or form. They got a thing going on. They want me to dye my beard. Head and bald to begin with. So anything to lighten the mood, gladly. So anything in that aspect, to be honest with you. It's not one specific thing, but each year is not a new set of girls, but it's enjoyable to be able to have different types of things year in, year out with different camaraderie with the different group of girls.
And the last one, what is your favorite post-game meal?
Ooh, oh, geez. This year post-game meals have been difficult. I've been living on the run. Chipotle, for sure. I love to cook. So honestly, post-game meals, homemade post-game meals are hard to come by nowadays, especially with getting home late. But Chipotle, I'm not a big on fast food anymore, to be honest with you. But if I had to go fast food, it's Wendy's, hands down. And then honestly, pizza, chicken parm, something like that. Meatball parm sandwich, can't go wrong there. That's for sure. Anything of that mentality. Anything with a little bit of meat and cheese.
That's perfect. I love it.
Gabby, before we let Coach go, we have a comment. I threw it up on the screen, but I wanted to read it as well, from an Angelo Joseph saying, great interview and love what Coach DCO is stating. It's all true. Still proud when I see all the SM teams win. So I wanted to get that in. And I think Kurt actually got a question texted to him by someone who's watching. So Kurt, are you behind the scenes as well?
Yes, I am, Gabby. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. When we get these questions texted, it's on another level. So, and I think you're going to know who it is kind of when I send it. But anyway, his question is, when is Raven going to get any airtime?
So Raven's my dog.
Okay. I was worried.
Maybe the next show I'll bring her on.
All right. That's what he's worried about. And I think you kind of know who he is, but who would ask a question like that? But yeah, I got it texted, so I had to put that through to you.
So funny. Gabby, great job tonight. Coach DCO, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure. We, of course, want to stay in touch with you guys throughout the season. We'd love to have you back, maybe a few players. We love that Gabby can just set it up with you in class.
Yeah, nice and easy. Absolutely. Honestly, guys, what you guys are doing is awesome. getting access to some of these students, not even just the smaller schools, but just having these interns and getting them some exposure, getting them some experience ahead of time, probably means the world to them and gets them a little taste of what maybe a little bit of adulthood would be like, real world jobs, right? Flirting with it, learning what the ins and the outs of certain things. So you guys are doing a great job. I've been following, obviously, with my nephew on, Coach Richie, and a few others. So once again, glad to have you, glad to be on, and glad to be back anytime. Just let me know.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It
You're
was
welcome.
really nice having you.
See you tomorrow, kiddo.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow, 7th period.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Good night.